Hello and welcome to Chompt Down Reviews, where I talk movies with my friends. My name is Ben, and this week we are doing an incredible Pixar movie, The Incredibles. And with me to do that was supposed to be my cousin, but I'm really not sure
Ben, you got some mail.
Oh, Walter, I thought you were tired.
Yeah, whatever. Okay.
Dear cousin, hola, it's me, Chico. I'm sorry I'm writing in an accent, but I am in hiding. I cannot make it back, but I want you to know I have grown more fond of DreamWorks Megamind over The Incredibles. More star power, and to heck with Disney. Much love, Chico. Never mind with that then. Let's just carry on with the review.
So, The Incredibles is a movie I've always thought was an especially great Disney movie since I was a kid. It combined Pixar movies with superhero movies, and what isn't there to love about that? And now that Pixar has announced that they're going to be making an Incredibles 2 with all the superhero, I guess super is easier, super movies getting pumped out this year, I thought The Incredibles was a great movie to go back to. So, let's take it back to a year when super movies were just hitting their stride, 2004. This review will have spoilers, so if you haven't seen The Incredibles, please do, but if it's been a while, let me give you a quick refresher. The movie starts with a really cool take on the overused news article introduction that's more like a documentary about the superheroes of old, and it introduces us to our three main heroes, Mr. Incredible, Elastigirl, and Frozone. They also introduce other characters like Gazerbeam and Dynaguy, who I would have loved to know more about because, like, what a name. This movie has great superhero names like Bon Voyage and many more. We find out that these two are getting super married, and they're going to have a super wedding, and then they get super fired. Because every superhero, no matter how good their intentions are causing people more harm than good. Or the people they save just realize how hard they could exploit the legal situation. And after a fanboy from Mr. Incredible's past gets involved, distracts Mr. Incredible, and then flies around the city with a bomb on his cape.
No capes.
Wait for it. That's the last straw, and the superheroes have to make their secret identity,
their only identity,
and hang up their capes and masks. After years of solitude, the Incredibles have now become an ordinary family, the Pars. Get it? Like going exactly average in golf? And are now raising their children, all with superpowers of their own. Violet, who has invisible powers and creates shields. Dash, who has super speed, and Jack, who doesn't seem to have powers until it's revealed that he's an insanely imaginative shapeshifter who can channel multiple powers or personalities. I don't know, it's never really explained, which is one reason why I think a sequel to this movie would be kind of cool. But in this normal life, no one has passions, and Bob Parr is really feeling his midlife crisis come on, because the glory days are gone. Until a villain tracks him down and tricks him into going to a secluded island with promises of glory, just like the old times, coming from a mirage in a pre-iPad. When Mr. Incredible in a fancy suit gets in a bit of trouble, Elastigirl and the kids have to make their way to the island to save him. On the island, the family learns not to hide their powers away and work as a family, and then nothing can really stop them. Then they find out the villain Syndrome's plan. He plans on taking the learning bowling robot he has been testing on supers, just like Mr. Incredible, and launching it into a city where it will wreak havoc and even kill people. And then Syndrome will fly in, pretend to be a hero, and everyone will love him. So the Pars, Incredibles, have to get home and defend their city with the help from Samuel L. Jackson. Other than Syndrome's plan being pretty weak, because what would he even do after he won? People would find out he's a phony eventually if he just kept making robots. And it's not like there's any other villains other than him right now, but whatever. The plot and pacing in this movie is really even, and the writing is top-notch. The humor is great with some jokes for kids, but a lot of jokes for adults that are done well enough for kids to laugh just from the delivery without catching the meaning, which Pixar had learned to do pretty masterfully by now. Like the fanboy yelling,
Incredible!
You're not affiliated with me!
There's great one-liners and satires of superhero tropes, like them talking about villains monologuing or the infamous
No capes.
Wait for it. Just wait. That all seem to work their way back in the movie by the end. Not to mention, this movie has some of the best scenes of all time from a cartoon. Like the one from before the Obamas were in the White House.
Honey!
what?
Where's my super suit?
What?
Where is my super suit?
Put it away!
Where?
Why do you need to know? I am your wife. I'm the greatest good you are ever gonna get.
Or at least I'd like to think so. I mean, he does have a secret identity. Or the scene where Dash runs on water, which is one of the best animated action scenes of all time that gets me super high. First thing to notice about The Incredibles is the animation, which, can I get away with it again? I think so. The animation is incredible. Pixar turned goofy 2D animation into full-fledged 3D models that look great, except for the insaneness of Mr. Incredible's muscles and the fact that women's stomachs would have to be in their pelvis or something. But the characters all look really great. The main characters all have really likable, sympathetic faces, and characters we aren't supposed to like necessarily are given weird, awkward shapes, like the boss's awkward movements, played by the legendary Wallace Shawn, or the teacher's head being really strange, or, well, look at the villain's head shape. The characters we're supposed to like quickly are made small and unthreatening, just like the old lady. And my favorite character, Edna Mode, who's played by the lady from NCIS, I assume.
Freeze!
Wait a second. No. If you didn't know, Edna Mode is played by the director Brad Bird, who is known for his work on The Simpsons, Ratatouille, a movie which has really grown on me through the years, and The Iron Giant. Nope, moving on. And more recently, Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol. Edna is a weird character with a lot of mystery behind her about what she does. Being the creator of supersuits seems like a job with a lot of cool stories. She seems so wise and knowledgeable and is absolutely hilarious.
Can also withstand the temperature of over 1,000 degrees.
What on earth do you think the baby will be doing?
Well, I'm sure I don't know, darling. Luck favors the prepared.
Not only did Brad Bird kill it putting everything together, writing and directing this movie, but he saved the best part for himself and you would never know it was him, darling. Even before his film career took off, this guy proved he could not only handle hilarious writing for a cartoon, but he really knew how to make the audience feel, which he did almost too well in The Incredibles. Well, back to the characters. The cool thing about this family of supers, which is the coolest part of the movie, is how well and quickly they are developed. It doesn't feel rushed or forced, but natural how this movie drops us into a busy day of the par's life, and we feel like we learn about every character, especially through the dinner scene. You can see Violet's teenage angst, you can see Helen trying her darndest to keep the family together, whatever this is.
It's not even toilet trained.
And Bob and Dash's shared overall boredom and thirst for adventure. But this brings me to my problems with the movie. I have a couple nitpicky things about this movie, like Syndrome knowing about where the Incredibles lived and that they had another son, but they didn't know that Mr. Incredible and Mrs. Incredible's family exists, but Mirage was still tailing Mr. Incredible. And the fire scene is strange because I don't think they had a plan of getting these people out, and when the two guys trip the alarm next door, only one of the cops responds to them until they all hear that one cop potentially die by being attacked by jewel thieves, and I just didn't really understand how this all happened. And I didn't understand this part at all as a kid, which I wish I had, because Gazer Beam uses heat vision to burn his password into the cave wall, and that is so cool. I wish I had gotten that. That would have been, that may be my own fault, but that is cool. That's really cool. A big criticism I have with this movie is that Bob's midlife crisis really takes up a big chunk of the movie, when I would definitely rather have seen more family time. This was mostly for plot reasons, but a midlife crisis is a mature theme for, wait a second, PG-13? Is this the only PG-13 rated Pixar movie? It is, and you can tell why. I didn't think I'd run into this, but The Incredibles almost isn't a kid's movie. I loved it as a kid, and I don't know if it was just because of the awesome colors in the animation or the characters, or how they replaced bullets with these things. That part still makes me feel weird, and I can't explain why. Maybe it has to do with the fact that he can't breathe, but I don't know. But all the violence in the movie really flew over my head. There's a lot of people actually dying, and like fiery explosions. Soldiers not only shoot real machine guns at children, but punch them in the face. Also, Elastigirl is all worried about her husband cheating on her, and that's not really kid stuff at all. There's a lot of adult moments in this movie that had me confused why I thought this movie was so happy as a kid, because it could be almost depressing. For example, that scene where the kids are on the plane with Elastigirl, about to be shot down out of the sky. Helen keeps screaming at Violet to shield the plane, but it's like too much stress for Violet, and she fails, and the plane explodes. Just crashes into the water. Not only is this scene extremely intense, but it's followed by Syndrome not even caring that he just murdered this man's poor family. And he leaves him crying and mourning. It's actually really sad. After, of course, threatening to kill Syndrome's assistant for revenge, but
I'll crush her.
Oh, that sounds a little dark for you. Now, go ahead.
It'll be easy, like breaking a toothpick.
Show me.
Syndrome didn't even care about that. He literally didn't care. Can we talk about this villain? Not only did they really pin down a fanboy in this character,
I am your biggest fan.
Buddy.
but this might be the most evil Disney villain of all time. Death means nothing to this guy. In fact, he plans to get a lot of people killed, and he intends to go further, but never loses his smile or laugh. His whole life has become living out his childhood dream of being a superhero, and he is blind to people around him. This dude is messed up in a way that only the craziest of fanboys could be. Pretty well done, actually. Evil aside, what Syndrome does bring us is the phrase,
And when everyone's super, no one will be.
which is a theme echoed through the movie.
Everyone's special, Dash, which is another way of saying no one is.
It's a really interesting theme for this film to take on. The Parr family lives with a handicap to play at the same level as everyone else, because if they step above everyone else, everything would change. So Dash, just like the rest of the family, has to settle for second place trophies until someone like Syndrome comes around and helps everyone else get to the super family level like the Parrs. So should the Parrs belittle themselves and wait for someone like Syndrome to release superpowers like iPhones, and then everyone can reach their level? Well, even with his own technology and all these plans, Syndrome can't even defeat his own robot. And the only way that the Parr family seems to be happy is when they let their true selves out and work as a team. This is a pretty strong message that I'll let you interpret further for yourself, but it's very clear what this movie is saying about this family and what not living up to their potential is doing to them. I really like The Incredibles. As a kid, and still today. I was worried I was going to be blinded by nostalgia, but I think it's still one of the best Pixar movies for so many reasons. Its animation style is beautiful, just like a comic book met up with a Toy Story trophy box one day.
And got busy!
The voice acting is top notch, the villain is truly evil, and the characters are very lovable. I don't know if it's the best Pixar movie, and if you would like to see me try to figure out which one is, please let me know in the comment section. But it is definitely in my top 5, and I give The Incredibles an 8 out of 10. Did you like The Incredibles? Did you just watch it for the first time? Let me know in the comment section. If you like this video, please give it a like and subscribe by clicking on this little guy right here. I could really use the clicks. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time when you chomp down with us. Till next time, see you soon.